David, thanks for your time. You're making a lot of shareholders happy, almost doubling the dividend. Revenue growth looks robust, and everybody's saying, oh, last year was so difficult. You sound like you're saying, what difficult? Which economy were you operating in?
We're in the same South African economy. The economy is particularly difficult. I know a lot of people are talking about some positive signals. There's been some political change which has been viewed positively. We're seeing some nice direct foreign investment. We're seeing greater business confidence. Employment levels are still very high but slightly lower than they've been in the past. Inflation also the same, pretty high but slightly lower it's been in the past. Interest rates have dropped a bit. So although there are some nice positive signals on the economy, I think everybody is still of the same conclusion that times are really tough. I guess the question is, well, how have we been able to grow at this rate?
Navigate that difficult environment, yes, yeah.
And, we really have positioned our businesses in the economy such that they can be very defensive, meaning in a difficult environment we can still do okay.
Right.
If you think about it, one part of our business, Transaction Capital Risk Services, is very focused on, most of its business there is collecting debt.
Right.
And we collect debt for everybody from, the regulated lenders such as the banks and the retailers, all the way through to non-traditional lenders and people that aren't even in lending, people like the municipalities, state-owned enterprises, insurers, the telecommunication companies. So there is a lot of debt to be collected at the moment. It's difficult to collect debt because consumers don't have disposable income, but we have done very well in that space, specifically the state-owned enterprises, municipalities and insurers and telcos. And then also we buy books from banks and credit retailers who aren't comfortable to...
The bad books.
The bad books. So they're not exactly right. They aren't comfortable to hold those books on their balance sheet. Right. These books are now pretty large, and we can buy those books at a fair price but get lots of volume flowing through our business. So that's allowed us to grow our risk services business nicely. We also did a small acquisition in Australia, which has helped. A very small acquisition, but that has helped. Yeah. And then in the taxi side, the taxi services are non-discretionary. It's an essential service. So regardless of the economy being difficult, people have to go to work and back. Yeah. And we are financing this, this very essential mode of public transport and insuring those vehicles as well. And this, again, is growing.
Yeah. So which then makes me ask the next question around how you position your business now going into this environment where everybody appears to be agreed, like you were saying in your introductory remarks, things are getting better. We're seeing foreign direct investment coming into the country. I just read a story earlier on about the government raising 2 billion rand in international markets, and that bond 1.7 times oversubscribed. So there's positivity. How does that impact your business?
Yes, so hopefully it will be a positive impact. I think the first thing I need to say is that we aren't banking on it. So all of our plans and strategies are based on the environment remaining the same. Okay. Of course, if we do get this uptick in the environment, then that will be additive to our results. So it will, be a bit of a tailwind that isn't planned for, a very welcome tailwind. Really, for us to continue what we need to continue in this growth path, we need to keep on delivering our strategy. In the taxi business, our main strategy is around two things. First of all, growing our insurance business. Okay. We've been financing taxis for many years, for about 18 years, but our insurance business is still quite young. It's probably only about 4 or 5 years old. Right. So there's a great opportunity to...
Is that road cover?
No, that's not. That's a different product, but it would fall into here. So this would be providing different insurance products. First of all, to taxi operators. Oh, okay. So we used to just finance, insure the vehicle itself. Yeah. And then our whole host of other products that we offer. Yeah. Our average client now has 1.8 insurance products for us. We've just recently launched a very well-priced credit life product. So new products in the insurance space. And also broadening our customer base. We used to focus on trying to sell insurance to a customer who takes our finance, and now we're trying to sell insurance to any taxi operator in the open market, as well as potentially to commuters. So a big strategy around insurance. Yeah. And then another strategy is to work more closely with the taxi industry, to align ourselves better with them and enter into new verticals along the way. So taxi operators are stressed at the moment. The price of the car is high, the price of petrol is high. Yeah. The only benefit has really been that interest rates have come down. Sure. And of course, employment is stubbornly high. unemployment is stubbornly high. So in order to make a taxi operator do better, what can we do? Government doesn't subsidize a taxi operator, and we're trying to work with them to make their business better. So we've just launched, by example, a fuel product where our taxi operators, when they fill up their vehicles, they can get a rebate. The taxi industry spends about 3 billion rand on fuel, and we need to access that and try to get some cash flow coming back into the taxi industry to make their businesses more sustainable. Yeah,
they've been happy, of course, with the recent bus strike where I saw them whizzing up and down. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the premiums as well as the claims within the taxi industry. I think all of us see what happens on the roads with the taxis, the way they speed, the driving habits of some of the drivers. How does that reflect in your premiums and also in your claims?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I mean, first of all, we've got various programs implemented where we are trying to work with taxi operators to make them more responsible and to try and get those old vehicles off the road and be replaced with new vehicles. So there is a big social element of our business that improves public transport in South Africa. The insurance business is challenging because, as you say, these vehicles are on the road for extended periods of time. Drivers are driving for long periods of time, and often these vehicles are old. What we really have to do in order to enable to deliver a product which is affordable to a taxi operator means that we need to, as much as possible, do everything ourselves. So when a vehicle is in an accident, we pick that vehicle up, we move it into our mechanical and panel facility. We have the largest panel facility in South Africa and probably Africa as well. And we do everything ourselves. We import part mainly from Taiwan, but other areas as well. We do all the panel work ourselves. We do the mechanical work ourselves, and this allows us to repair cars and to process claims at a lower cost than most.
Sure. What's your estimate of the part of the industry that's covered by insurance?
So we estimate that there are about 250 taxi operators or taxis on the road, minibus taxis on South Africa's roads.
250?
250. And we estimate that
I thought there would be more.
Yeah, it seems like there are more, probably because they drive around so much. But there are estimated to be about 250. That's been growing. It was at about 200,000, and it's now, over the last 4 or 5 years, moved to about 250.
Oh, 250,000?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. In my head I was going 250.
No, 250.
Alone must be more than that. Here we go, 250,000.
And of that 250,000, 70 to 80,000 are financed and insured. So a small component of the fleet is financed and insured. And of course, what we are trying to do is through providing end user finance and by providing insurance to a taxi operator, allow them to take an old vehicle off the road and replace it with a new vehicle. And that really is the growth prospect for our business. And
that's a huge opportunity if you talk about it. Talking about growth, I wanted to talk a little more because I saw in the results, you talk about 650 million being available. Is that all of it? Is there potential for you to leverage and get more? And then where are you putting that money?
Okay, so first of all, that is just the excess cash sitting on our balance sheet. There is potential to leverage. Our holding company balance sheet is ungeared, and we also have the ability to issue shares if you saw something big enough. So we could look for acquisitions, a multiple of the times of 650 million, probably anything north of $1 billion we could still look at.
Sure.
So there is capacity or firing power to do those acquisitions. There are various areas that we're looking at. In the debt collection space, there are very nice, unfortunately they're small, but there are nice opportunities to buy specialist collection agents.
Right.
So someone who focuses on a very specialized type of collection. It could be home loan, it could be auto finance, or it could be collections in the municipal space. To buy small businesses like that, and of course that we can just plug into our collection platform. And we would look to do that both in South Africa and in Australia.
Okay.
We bought road cover, which you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
That is what we call a value-added services business.
Just explain what it does. You see the sticker on the road when you're coming into Sandton.
So it really is a fantastic business, has real social relevance in South Africa. Essentially what we do is we help South Africans claim from the Road Accident Fund.
Okay.
We don't participate in the fund in any way, and we don't have any risk to the fund. It is purely a processing business.
Oh, okay. So my eyes were opening wide because I'm sure you've read those stories of those lawyers who get into that space and then end up taking the bulk of it.
So we go exactly against that, and the fund loves us because what we do, we have no incentive to make claims bigger because we don't participate.
Right.
So what we do is we sell that product either directly through call centers or else we embed it into other products. So it could be in one of your insurance policies, or maybe in one of your vehicle loans or something like that.
Right.
And if you then have an accident, we get notified. We would then contact you and say, you know, what, have you been injured? We can then process the claim. We'll get all of your information, process the claim.
Yeah.
We know how to work with this fund very efficiently and get the payout to the individual. So it actually provides some type of, it's not real insurance because it's against a fund, a government fund, but it provides the average South African with the ability to claim against the road fund. Absolutely. So there are other businesses that are similar, either value-added insurance businesses selling specialized products, or else, you know, subscription businesses selling admin services, which is what road cover does, and that's another investment opportunity.
Absolutely. So I was looking at your share price, up 1% at the moment, 17 Rand 40 cents, and I was looking at the graph as well since you listed, and certainly the trend is nicely going in the right direction. Sustainability and what you're going to do to be able to maintain it.
Yeah, so again, as I said, investing in our strategies. I've spoken a lot about the insurance business growing. I've spoken a lot about working together with the taxi industry to make our business as sustainable as possible. Acquisitions will help us. Growing collections from non-debt or non-lenders, i.e. municipalities, etc. So collecting for those type of businesses. Buying books is a big thing, and we see that market growing nicely. And then, of course, the acquisition strategy as well is
David, thanks for coming through today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
That's David Hurwitz, is the CEO of Transaction Capital.